For 6 millennia before the Common Era, and for centuries beyond, the Yellow River was less a river and more a living, breathing, often furious deity. A serpentine artery of mud and loess, winding its way through the vast, unforgiving plains. It was a cradle, yes, but one perpetually rocked by cataclysm, carving out not just land, but destiny itself. It was here, in this fertile yet treacherous basin, that the very idea of China began to take root, a slow, agonizing birth that would span millennia, shaping a civilization unlike any other on Earth. Imagine, if you can, the earliest stirrings, scattered settlements, small agricultural communities clinging precariously to the river's erratic temperament, their lives dictated by its unpredictable floods and its parching droughts. Existence was a constant gamble, a desperate negotiation with the elements. Yet from this primal struggle emerged an inherent human drive for order, for survival beyond mere subsistence, for something more than just clinging to the earth. A deep collective need began to coalesce, to manage the waters, to coordinate labor on an unprecedented scale, to defend against both the ravages of nature and the encroaching ambitions of neighbors. From this profound necessity, the first whispers of a hierarchical system began to emerge, not yet kings or emperors, but strongmen, elders, figures of undeniable authority who could command respect and orchestrate the collective effort of a nascent people. It was a slow, organic process, the kind that grinds forward through countless generations, each small innovation building upon the last, like the very layers of silt deposited by the river that nurtured them. Then came the true accelerants, fundamental shifts that ripped through the fragile fabric of nascent society and forged something irrevocably new. Consider first the sheer revolutionary power of writing. This was not merely pictograms scratched on pottery, but a continuous evolving script that would persist unbroken for 3.5 millennia. Think of the staggering implications. The ability to record history with precision, to codify laws that would bind generations, to administer vast territories with unprecedented efficiency, and perhaps most profoundly, to transmit complex ideas across the chasm of time and space. When the earliest oracle bones were heated and cracked, revealing the will of the ancestors or the future of a harvest, it was more than just divination. It was the birth of a bureaucratic memory, a system where the past could speak directly to the present, and the present could command the future with an enduring permanence. This wasn't a sudden flash, but a slow, inexorable dawning, like the sun rising over the Yellow River, burning away the mist of oral tradition and ushering in an age of records, of undeniable permanence, of a shared written identity that would bind a people for thousands of years. Alongside this intellectual revolution came a material one, the mastery of bronze. Listen to the clang of the hammer, the roar of the furnace, the hiss of molten metal as it met water. This wasn't just a new alloy. It was power made tangible, forged in the crucible of human ingenuity. Weapons that could cleave through primitive shields, chariots that would forever transform the very nature of warfare, and intricate ritual vessels that connected the living with the spirit world, embodying the sacred and the profane. The very process of bronze casting demanded an advanced level of organization, specialized labor on a grand scale, and centralized control, the unmistakable hallmarks of a developing state. It meant miners delving deep into the earth, smelters mastering the fiery alchemy, artisans shaping the molten metal, and overseers orchestrating it all in concert, driven by the insatiable demands of a burgeoning elite. And those elites, now armed with the ability to record their decrees for posterity and to forge devastating weaponry, began to solidify their grip on power. The early hierarchical systems, born of necessity and collective survival, rapidly evolved into full-blown governmental structures. From loose tribal confederations, they coalesced into the first proto-states, then inexorably into the dynastic cycles that would define Chinese history for thousands upon thousands of years. This wasn't a peaceful transition whispered into existence. It was forged in brutal conflict, in the merciless subjugation of rivals, in the forceful imposition of authority over disparate clans and peoples. The concept of the mandate of heaven would eventually emerge, providing a divine justification for rule, a cosmic imprimatur. But beneath that celestial veneer lay the stark, often brutal reality of power, consolidated through unyielding force, meticulous organization, and the raw, unbridled ambition of men. And what of that force? Picture it. The dust cloud rising from the plains, the thunder of hooves shaking the very earth, the terrifying rattle of wheels, and the sudden blinding glint of bronze weapons. The chariot, imported from the west, perhaps, but perfected and deployed with devastating effect in the Yellow River Valley. This was the ultimate shock weapon of its age, a mobile firing platform, a symbol of aristocratic might and unparalleled wealth, crashing into lines of foot soldiers, spreading chaos, terror, and disarray. The strategic and psychological impact of the chariot cannot be overstated. It was a game changer, cementing the power of those who could afford to build and maintain these fearsome machines, further consolidating the hierarchical military and political structures that defined the early dynasties. By 220 CE, the end of this long formative period, the scattered villages along the Yellow River had long since given way to a vast, complex, and enduring civilization. The threads woven over millennia, continuous writing, sophisticated bronze technology, robust hierarchical governments, and devastating military innovations like the chariot had intertwined to create something truly unique and resilient. A civilization that possessed an unparalleled sense of historical continuity, where the past was not merely remembered, but actively lived through the unbroken chain of written records. An empire that had learned, through immense struggle, to tame its rivers, to organize its masses into a formidable collective, and to project its power through a sophisticated bureaucracy and an awe-inspiring military. What does it truly mean for a people to possess a written record stretching back 3,500 years? It means that every subsequent generation carries the weight, the wisdom, and the indelible scars of countless ancestors. It means that the very foundation of their society was built on the meticulous collection of knowledge, the brutal, unceasing pursuit of order, and the enduring human struggle to carve meaning and permanence from the swirling chaos of existence. The Yellow River had not just shaped the land, it had shaped the very soul of a civilization.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more history daily.